welcome to the St. Mary City Commission regular city meeting for April 1st, 2025. First item are the appropriation ordinances. We actually have two. 1261 is for the police car we approved last time, and then 1262 is everything else. And I asked Maurice about the Build X, that's for the roads, the
aggregate.
chicken seal. If there are any questions? Not, I entertain a motion to approve the ordinances as presented.
Mr. Mayor, I so move.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, a second, all those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? So those are approved as presented. The proposed minutes for the last meeting. Good.
There was something in there, my name was mentioned and I wasn't here.
See how clever we are?
Okay, in the draft version, your name was mentioned.
Oh, you fixed it up?
We caught that. There was 3 times your name was mentioned, yes.
Oh, I only got one, so
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah, but in the draft, it should, in the final, it should
You
be
guys
in there.
blame everything on me when I'm not here.
But we'll do it while you're here.
Oh, you doing what?
Don't worry.
You're consistent, I give you that.
They good? Yep. Great. The minutes are approved. Do we have anything to add to the agenda? Library,
Oh, library parking lot.
is it not on? Okay, we got the stuff, we just didn't have.
So it's in the packet, but if Bob wasn't gonna be here.
Are you talking to anything else tonight, Bob?
I don't think so.
The fall dive,
You could talk about the quote on the Diamond One, from last year.
Oh, sure.
okay, so I just soon put it in there right after.
And a saw. He wants to buy a saw.
Okay. So I'd like to add it under, after, D delta, so we'll make it D1. Anything else? All right, so the first order of business is, property insurance. Good news from Brooke.
Of course, always.
The higher number is better, right? Isn't that-
Of course it is, yes.
You want a paper copy?
Yeah, you can have a hard copy here.
Pass this around.
It's the same thing.
It's the same information, it's just a paper version. It's your paper notes.
It's a piece of paper.
Your name over it, too. Oh. Big thing.
Alright, go ahead.
So if I'm sitting on the board, the first number I want to look at is the very bottom. So the increase from $203,731 to $235,164, that was actually far better than the majority of municipalities that I've been seeing. The second part that I'm going to point you to, so we can just get the bad news out of the way, is if you go to the property portion, you'll see a difference in the wind hail deductible from last year. It was 1% with a $25,000 minimum. This year they went to 3% with a $250,000 minimum. They wanted that deductible structure last year, but didn't send out the proper paperwork, so we were able to get it grandfathered for 1 more year. Any property policy with over $10 million in value is going to a 3% wind hail. There were 2 other companies, this is all with Travelers, by the way, the incumbent. There were 2 other companies that we went to, which would be EMC and Chubb. They both agreed to provide proposals, and then when they looked at the loss runs showing that there were still open claims with a significant amount, they said until those repairs had been made, they would not be proposing any property insurance. So if those can be made midterm this year for any reason, we will remarket midterm. The rest of the coverages, I know I've gone over in detail before. I'm happy to answer any questions. It's mostly apples to apples. The only difference, if you look at the general liability portion, the abuse and molestation, because of all of the practices and protocols that have been implemented, that was not included in the past, and you now have it with a limit of $100,000 per occurrence and $200,000 aggregate.
So on the 2024 column, when you were here in August, you gave us invoices for everything except for the property insurance portion.
Correct.
And so we're current on all of that except $88,789.
Yes.
All right, so we still owe that much from the current policy. That's the one that had issues with the being quoted, and then it just got extended.
I was gonna say, and the reason being is because we tried to remarket that several times during the year. And so our agency owner, since y'all have been an insured of ours for so long, went ahead and said, if we can find it, then we're not gonna charge them until we actually are able to place them with a more competitive company. Since the claims are still open, that did not happen during the 2024-2025 policy year.
So the difference on the bottom line is 15% from 24 to 25. It's about $30,000, $31,000. Kelsey looked up 3 years ago, our entire policy was $107,000.
Correct.
Here it'd be $235,000 approximately 3 years later.
I can speak to the market and all of the changes if you would like.
Well, I'm just curious to know what is that? Apparently this is typical,
Unfortunately, of my industry at present, yes,
so that's over 100%.
yes. The main driving force is Travelers is not insuring a catastrophe limit of 19.7 million. Travelers is insuring approximately, they're gonna write a check to you for about 3 million. They have to go to reinsurance for the rest. Insurance companies do not have the funds to pay out every single claim that they have. It's not possible. The reinsurance market, which is their insurance company, is the one that drives the rates, and even if they can get them. So with the fires and all of the weather events that have happened over the past few years, they're pushing the brakes down on what they will insure and asking insurers to self-insure more, as you can see with the new Windhail deductible. We have access to every broker, every company, and I went to everyone that would consider a municipality. We had discussed a Windhail deductible buy down a couple of years ago. It wasn't worth it at the time. I'd like to explore it at this point. We were unable to do so prior to today because Travelers didn't come in with their proposal until yesterday. But I think just looking at the cost in the event of something, since you had two within a month of each other,
Wind and then hail.
may be worthwhile for the first time.
Brooke, thank you for putting this together. When you said reinsurance, what does that mean?
Basically means an insurance company's insurance carrier.
Okay,
So we
the
would
insurance is insurance.
Yes.
It's okay.
Safety net.
That's it.
Yes,
So they could accept the proposal tonight
Mhm.
and you could invoice us, but then if something would change,
oh,
you'd come back and extend it.
absolutely.
Because that one part has been due for, well, a year.
And again, since it was such a shock at the end of last year to get that, and we did want to try and remarket through the year, we were hoping we would get something more competitive. And that's why we let that invoice go long. And again, that's just the loyalty that the city has had in our working relationship and trust.
So, and just to be clear on the property, so the wind and hail deductible, that's 3% or 250,000 minimum
Yes.
per building,
Oh, not a per occurrence.
per
My goodness,
occurrence,
yes.
okay. Yeah, that's.
Yes,
okay.
per occurrence.
So what was the the adjustment you were thinking you might be able to make with wind and hail damage?
So what some of our municipalities have done is when they go to a 3%, they buy it back down to a 1. So it may cost, and again, they look at claims history, so I don't necessarily want to give out a dollar amount, but buying it down from, I think, 1% of 19 million versus 3%. When I looked at 3%, I believe it's about 600,000. So even if we bought that down to 150,000, and that was all the city was responsible for, in the event of a wind hail deductible, it may be worth a little additional premium just for peace of mind. But again, we would weigh the premium, and of course you would weigh the premium against the benefit of kind of rolling the dice on weather. And I'm happy to expand on any other line of coverage. We've gone over them before. I certainly don't want to take up any more time than you need, but please, if you'd like me to go over any other line, just let me know.
I think Francis said something.
Of course.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Hey.
So I want to make sure I understand the 3%, 250,000. Can you walk through just a case scenario?
Sure.
Big storm, a building gets $1 million worth of damage. What happens?
$1 million?
Yeah, let's just say one of our things that we have insured gets $1 million worth of damage. How does it work with the 3%, 250,000?
So they would take 3% of the building involved in the loss, so 3% of 1 million. I would love to say that I can do that. It is, thank you so much. So that would not meet the $250,000 minimum. So in that case, if it was just one building,
So we'd have to have $10 million worth of damage, or $9 million, right? If
when
it's-
I looked at the 61 buildings, there were 10 that had a building value of 250,000 or over. So what they are trying to do is insure for catastrophic losses only.
But that's just for wind and hail, that doesn't
Correct.
include like fire or
Absolutely
tornado.
not. You have a tornado is wind.
Big one.
I know. For anything else, you have a deductible of 2,500.
Would tornado fall under the wind? Sorry to interrupt you.
It would.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
So in that scenario, that it doesn't do anything for us, is that?
That's where the wind
Sorry,
hail
yeah, go ahead.
deductible buybacks.
So can we go back to that scenario?
Sure.
$1 million building, let's say it's wind and hail, $1 million loss on it. Can you walk
so
me through the 3%, 250,000, what happens?
$1 million building, a 3% wind and hail deductible, which is 30,000. If you don't have more than 250,000 in the city of St. Mary's, because this is per occurrence, not per building. So my guess is if one building gets hit, several will with wind or hail. It's very rare that only one building gets hit. But they will take 3% of that and they will say, does it meet the $250,000 minimum? If it does not, then the city of St. Mary's is self-insuring wind and hail up to 250,000.
So if we had multiple buildings and the total was $1 million,
Yes, we would, most likely. I was gonna say with wind and hail, I've never seen, and I've seen a lot recently, unfortunately, so we'll just knock on wood, but I've never seen a catastrophic wind or hail not affect several buildings and not meet the minimum. Because they're not
So
going,
self-insured.
a hailstorm or a windstorm isn't just gonna hit one.
Could I just wanted that? It looks like that means unless we have total damage of $8.3
Just gonna
million,
say,
we're getting no coverage
For wind and hail,
for wind and hail.
Yes, I-
Because 250,000 divided by 0.03, that's $8 million. That's when we
well,
meet.
we don't need to, no, we don't need to,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry, did you say 250,000 divided by 0.03?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not,
No, but to get 3%, to get, if the 3% of a single loss, that has to add up to $250,000 in order for the, to kick in.
The damage has to.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yes,
So we have to have $8.3 million worth of damage in order for that coverage for wind and hail to be effective.
I wish I had brought a calculator. to
Well, no, that would be right, so 30,000 per
I
building,
do wish that I.
30,000 per building, 9
Calculate.
buildings is 270,000.
Mhm.
So that'd be more than 250.
Yes,
And then that, what happens after that? We get the other,
full, yes. You
so,
get
but
paid.
the city has to eat the first $250,000?
Yes,
Okay.
No matter what.
unless we do a wind hail deductible buyback, which
Sure.
most likely, of course, we'll get quotes for.
So it's kind of a self-insurance type thing on most instances, but
But
catastrophic for
catastrophic.
ones, which is what they're angling for, you get coverage.
That makes sense.
Well, but it tells me they don't want to cover for wind.
The most common damage we probably get is wind and hail.
Some of them are actually excluding wind and hail, like some Colorado policies exclude wildfire.
I'm sorry, Maurice, what was we have a wind and hail claim in right now, right?
Yep.
What was that total amount?
I don't know exactly.
Or was it over
We're looking at
$8.3
one,
million?
well, we were looking at $1.8 million, they said at a meeting, right, for all the hail claims. The check we got was for $569.
But the point is, that was fairly
Well, our
significant.
deductible is gonna be
It wasn't anywhere
111.
near.
If I remember, what they sent us is that our deductible is gonna be $111,000, but there's a chance to lower that, I don't remember the process, but, and we thought it might have only been $50,000 at one time, but this calculation, so I can't say for sure.
We have 3 municipalities that have bought the wind hail deductible buyback that have the same 3% wind hail. So I am happy to provide a proposal for that, because that is how they are managing the.
I think it would be worth seeing that, if you could
Of
just sort of
course.
run the numbers sort of in a chart so we could. Then we have to get the insurance on the other hand.
So are you wanting to act on this, or?
Mayor, a question. Brooke, would it make any difference, so just to go back to the example Francis gave him, so if there was $1 million worth of damage, the first 250,000 would be covered by the city, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Would the premium change at all? So I mean, that 3% really doesn't mean anything unless, like what Matthew was saying is, unless there's $8.3 million worth of damage. So if we increase that 3% to 5% or 10%, would that help reduce the premiums, or what's,
absolutely.
I don't know if that's worth taking a look at.
If-
Because if we're out of pocket, no matter what, on wind and hail, up to 250,000. And recently with the last storm that we're dealing with on the open claim, I mean, it's less than $2 million worth of damage. It might make sense to look at if we could increase the percentage just to reduce the premium amount.
And
I hope I'm
to your
making-
point,
yeah.
if we did, and there was a wind hail deductible buyback also in place, that would behoove the city even more. Because even if it was less premium, but we could structure the deductible for wind hail in a different way, that's definitely an option.
Yeah, because the 3% doesn't benefit us at all on the wind and hail side, unless we had $8.3 million worth of
Absolutely.
damage. So I think it would be worthwhile, at least looking what it would do for the premium if we increase that 3% to 10%, 15%, 25% even.
My guess is you
I
would
don't know.
see a very large savings.
I would be open to that. Also open to discussion.
I just think we need to see more options
Of
actually
course.
played out with adjusting those variables and seeing how it,
Absolutely.
and we don't have to approve this today, right?
Probably not, it's pretty close. Could you at least consider approving the 2024 property amount for $88,789? So we can close that one up?
Yes.
Gotta make sure everybody's questions have been answered. What's the deadline on the 2025 renewal? Do we have another meeting in this?
Of course.
Okay.
So but we need to approve the 2024 numbers, so we can pay
If there's a
that bill,
consensus
basically.
to have that paid
Yeah,
or a motion, either way, I'd just like to get that year
Okay.
done.
we have a consensus on that.
$88,000.
Yeah, to make
Yeah,
sure we
yeah.
can pay the bill from last year.
Get that one squared away.
Nate?
Yeah. All right, so you can
We
invoice
have
it.
another one.
We'll get it done. And then carry it over, so you're asking her to come back with a varying amount of percentage of that.
Well, and if it would be possible to see the data beforehand so that we can
Oh, of course.
look at it,
Of
could we
course.
get it in a spreadsheet by any chance? Okay, that would help. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Be careful driving home.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
We're insured right now, right?
Yes. Oh, never, I know, I was gonna say,
So I need to-
never leave you uninsured, ever.
All right, next item on the agenda, fire department. I think that's for a truck.
We're back for a truck and
Chad.
chassis. There's 2 bids on that there for the truck. And 2 bids for the bed. So, I went in and got another bid from Olathe, same place Chief gets his Explorers from. So they had a lot quicker feedback, same, pretty close, 58,000, some for 550, large gas, single cab. But compared to Max Motors up there, there was a white one, but I got him to give me a bid on it, but on the bed, emergency equipment come in there around, what, 80,000?
84.
Yeah. We used to have Salina there kind of out of the picture on it. But I don't know whether they threw up some major numbers. But all in all, that's where we've been getting most of our beds and stuff done down there. It used to be down in Mayfield, and that company bought them out. They're out in Eureka.
That's this one, the,
Yeah, Mercy Equipment, Craig. So,
Is that the same, is that the kid?
one's for the the 2 there, first off for the chassis, the other one's for the bed, building the bed. It's kind of like the 2018 that we got, set up pretty much a sister of that. So 400 gallon with a walkthrough behind the cab, so.
So the truck is the cheapest thing involved here.
Oh, yes, yeah.
By
Now,
much.
included with that bid
Holy.
is the, I'll have to confirm that tomorrow, but I have them shoot it also. That's the ranch hand up front with the running boards, and they pretty well deck it out for that amount of money. So when it leaves there, it's ready to roll.
The ranch hand, is that the gun up front?
That's the gun, no, that's the push guard up front, and the running boards, mud flaps, things like that, decals, lights, sirens, things like that.
So the Olathe is a 2025 model, whereas the,
So 24.
yeah, this one's 24, and then the Olathe is also F550, the other one's an F450.
Yeah.
Matter.
No, it doesn't really matter. The one on your left hand's a white one. Yeah. And I'd really like to go the Olathe with the red.
That's actually a little bit less.
Yes.
Well, it's $7 more. So,
Yeah. So, but they're pretty much matched up the same, other than color. But I just had them give me a bid, and they said they had it down there in Olathe. Availability, I think, is a little quicker.
also.
Yeah, I told them either a 450 or 550 on a quote. It didn't really matter to me, the height difference is the same, within an inch. But the stability on a, you have a stiffer suspension on the 550 than you do the 450, so it's kind of like, well, you got a little better stability in the hills, but yet when you get in the mud with the 550s, you don't want to sit down. But I know we put some lug tires on it too, so it helps them get around a little bit, so it's kind of one or the other.
So to sum it up, you want the Olathe 550?
Yeah, I'd like to go with the Olathe in the emergency management. Yes.
Any other questions?
So the amount,
Yeah, what is the total there?
well, we'll do something until the fire equipment quote, $84,861.48, and that is for the bed.
The bed.
And all the,
All the accessories
All
and
the
everything ready
accessories.
to go out the door.
and is it the one from Olathe Fleet
Yes.
for $58,550? And that's for a 2025 Ford F550 4x4 regular cab. Lots of other stuff after that.
I'm sorry, what was the name of the?
Olathe Ford,
No, the other,
Olathe Fleet,
for the bed equipment,
emergency fire equipment.
emergency fire.
I'm sorry. Now in Eureka,
Yes. Any other questions? So at this point, I'm gonna take a motion to approve, these proposed expenditures, $84,861.48. Emergency fire equipment for the bed, and the truck, a 2025 Ford 550 from Olathe Ford for $58,550.
so it's 143,411 something. It'd go to his fire fund.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, I move we accept the fire truck proposal as presented and as you just read.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I second.
And I have a second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good night.
Next item on the agenda, Caw Valley Chamber of Commerce. A request for waiving fees for the armory. Nicole, would you tell us?
Hi, hello everyone. Yes, we have to host one of our meetings. It's usually just one a year. Now it's a larger meeting and we get quite a few members attending. We won't fit in our normal conference room. So we're requesting a few to be waived for that meeting. It's next Tuesday.
And they already had the venue reserved,
It's on the calendar.
it's on the calendar, so it's not a conflict. Any,
Do you need a motion on
just a consensus on
If
that?
there's a consensus, we say.
Yeah.
Good.
Good?
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you help us with that park over there?
We're working on it.
Alright, good. Alright, next item, diamond number 1 lights. Follow up from last meeting, I think.
So, yes. Both of you guys. would you
Alright,
prefer?
2 for 1 here. Dave, Bob.
Good, Gary, same rankings. I have no new information. Everything stays the same from last week. And I think where we left off was that he was gonna try and find some cheaper pricing.
We were just gonna look around and kind of verify, and Bob had contacted someone from last year and responded, and what'd they say?
Right, basically, she said that she could not beat that price, so. I contacted her again, see if those prices were still good or changed or anything, and she couldn't beat the price from there.
Okay, so we actually, we approved it last time pending confirmation
Yeah.
that it was the best, so I'm not sure we need any further action.
With the turfs?
Well,
No, it's the first.
We have till, I guaranteed it till tomorrow,
Okay.
through tomorrow.
and I'd found a quote from 2019 or 2018 that wasn't an apples to apples type thing, but it was a bigger number even then, so. And I'm sure none of those numbers have come down from those years, so. Where we leave it at is that you're gonna accept his amount of, whatever's on that sheet, so he can get a purchase order going and lock in the prices. Bob, did you have any other thoughts on this?
No,
Just- Okay.
Well, there was one, the warranty, is there a warranty on those lights?
There is, I think it's 5 years,
I-
but that's just on light. It's not the.
Wind and hail?
3% or 200?
I'll say an insurance claim for wind and hail.
Okay, hold on, Francis, go.
Thanks, Spear. So in one of the emails back and forth from one of the potential suppliers,
Yeah.
this is public information, she said there's a lot of Chinese junk out there, so knowing the manufacturer is important, knowing that your fixtures are warranted is also important. I don't know what her warranty is, I don't know anything about all these lights, but just kind of, sometimes people just say that to say it, but sometimes they say it because, well, you get what you pay for type thing. Any thoughts on the quality of light or the price difference between a higher warranty?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would ask her where the lights are made. I mean, most products are made in, like the components are made in Mexico or China. It might be assembled, it says made in USA, well, it's not. Usually it's assembled in USA if it is. But we had a work session quite a while back where I presented some options. We had the corn cob light, we had the shoebox light, and then we had the, I guess we're calling it the Cadillac model, which is the actual ball diamond light. I handed out some product information sheets. We went through lumens, we went through price, and it sounded like it was going to be a lot more work than what it was worth to try and get a shoebox light or a corn cob light to work in these fixtures. So that was why we went with these heads.
So there's a good warranty?
You're confident in the lights you're going to be installing, right? So
Yeah, I mean-
her concern is probably not, it doesn't worry you at all.
It doesn't. I mean, we've put these lights in before. It's come border states, Oakley, so you have their lights in your building, probably. And we buy millions of dollars of lights from them, and we have very little issues. And if we do have an issue, we usually have really good service on it. So
So you got the approval, what kind of time frame are we looking at?
I
Well, you know, you're assuming they're gonna be coming in at a certain time. Is there a time of year that's better? Because you said something last time, Bob, about the middle of the season, after the season. When do you think, when's an ideal time?
I mean, I just would hate to see the lights tore apart in the middle of the season and not usable, but
I mean, we can coordinate with them, whatever. I can find out what an estimated ship date is and then just coordinate with
Okay, I
that.
just, I couldn't recall what you all said.
Some design work on like the cross arms, I need to get some specs of what is required and they have to be
Think for that.
fabricated.
All right, good, thank you.
Thanks, Lucas.
All right, Bob, you just, you wanna stay up,
Okay.
talk about the, I guess, library
Oh, yeah.
parking lot?
So, south side of the parking lot, I don't know, I sent some pictures out, I'm not sure if anybody got up to see it, but it's been in, pretty rough shape for the last few years, actually. With that construction just south of there, traffic, anyway. We've just been trying to put it off until they're done with the work there, and I think they're about done on that backside anyway. Anyway, yeah, I did some measuring and almost about half of it needs to be just completely tore out, the south side. And the other half towards the building could be, I think could be overlaid, smoothed out, kind of put a leveling over it with some asphalt. I ran some numbers. We're looking at around $7,000 to do the work ourselves. It's not a big rush on it, but putting it out there, that money would not be able to be used from the special highway money.
I don't think special highway money can go for a parking lot. We know you do transfer non-special highway money in there, but we can look into it, but I don't think so, but just reduce the amount of the transfer and charge it to sales tax. So, yeah, there's a way to do it.
We've tried to chip and seal it several times, there's not enough traffic on it, and then all the traffic that is on it is turning constantly to park, and it just
Any comments on that?
Sounds good.
Yeah, look for consensus,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
it'd be a summer project, something that's not scheduled yet.
good, Gerard?
Good.
Yes, good for that, thank you.
okay.
Do you wanna talk about a saw,
The
or?
saw.
Yeah, so I put in the packet, it's technically an agenda item, but explain the saw, please.
Okay, so this saw is, for our cutting our streets, it's a walk behind saw. When you see these utility cuts or dig outs where they had to replace their sewer or a water leak or something, we go behind it and cut them out, square them up. And our current saw is about 12 years old. It's, time to replace it. That's the price and the size of our current one.
And we didn't get competing bid report. This is something I think you could have just purchased, but because of the timing, I thought it'd be nice if you guys could see what he was buying. So 12 years ago, the one that this one replaced, I believe, flew apart. Is it the one that hit us?
It was a blade that broke while
Was it blade?
being used.
So,
Now they don't sell those abrasive blades anymore. We have to use a diamond blade. So.
I just remember there being some sort of accident with one of them, and I thought the machine was at its end of its life. And apparently 12 years is this one's.
So what do you need from us on that?
And there's it's just consensus. You can get quotes or anything like that, so they'll buy it. What's the amount? 3,800?
3,000, that's the one I looked at.
Yes.
Husqvarna.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good?
Parking,
Yeah.
Saw, Diamond, anything else?
No.
No update? All right.
We closed 63.
Yeah, we noticed
63 is
that.
closed.
Thanks, Ed.
All those signs are out right for the windstorm.
What I did notice was they put plastic bags over the stop signs and they were all blown off.
were gone.
So it's sort of, I stopped. Try not to.
There was a consensus, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, she's asking.
to recover the stop signs. Item E, ordinance 13, we had to
Just carry it over.
carry it over because
It's the same information that from the last meeting. I just needed Bernard to approve the format, and I didn't get that done. But he did say it's something we can publish on our website, so we'll do that.
Agenda item F, 2025 audit engagement letter, which we approved that last time, so. what do
You
we
approved
need?
the audit, and then you solicited this,
Yeah.
and in there is his boilerplate letter, and the cost is $10,450. $10,450. It won't exceed $10,450. It will cost exactly $10,450. So, yeah, that's a 1 year. Yeah. So, if you accept it consensus-wise, we'll set up the next year's schedule.
How much did we spend last year?
3% less, I think.
10,250.
10,250, yeah.
Good, Gerard?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sort of like the insurance, we have to get it at some point, whether.
When we tried to do a 3-year plan that one time, I think it was like 6 or 7, but
All right, the next item on the agenda is CD number 33179, so I have a couple bids up here. Bizarre terms to have this kind of 12. 13. All right. So the first is from the Bank of the Flint Hills, dated yesterday. For CD number 33179, the amount of $493,710.73. Matures on the April 17th. And their 6-month rate, they're offering 6-month 4.42, and their second 12 months at 4.52. So 6-month at 4.42, annual percentage, or 12 month at 4.52. We would like also to extend an offer of our special term of 9 months at 4.58. 4.58. So 6-month 4.42, 12-month 4.52, 9-month 4.58. For the same certificate of deposit from Caw Valley State Bank, please consider our bid for the above described certificate of deposit with an annual percentage rate of 4.20 for maturity in 6 months, or 4.08 for maturity in 12 months. So 4.20, 6 month, 4.08, 12 months, and those are the only 2 options. Any discussion on that? Any motions? Do you need me to repeat anything? You guys got it?
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept the bid from Flint Hills, Bank of the Flint Hills for 9 months at 4.58%.
Okay, motion for 9 month at 4.58 from Bank of the Flint Hills. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None are opposed, so we will accept that. Bank of the Flint Hills, 9 months, 4.58%. annual percentage. I don't see any other agenda items. Do you have any reports?
Oh, that was just, so I read several newspapers and the city of Hillsborough was renewing its insurance like we were. And they were with EMC, which is a good company, but they left and went to a pool. If we're gonna do that, there's all kinds of pitfalls with that, but it's worth exploring. So I put it out in the packet, and I'd actually talked to Brooke about it a little bit, and so she is aware of it. I don't know if you were here, I did it or not, but the mayor there, Charles. But anyway, I just put it out there as information. And it's an option. I'm not sure if it's the option for this city, but that's not my decision, so I leave it up for y'all.
Do you want to talk about it or put it on an agenda for?
I guess if it's an option that's worth considering, which it seems like it is,
Brooke will be at the next, she'll be back at the next meeting, unless you want to do it independent of the brokerage. Because I did broach it with her, I did tell her about it, and that sort of stuff, and just don't be having a white shirt and spaghetti dinner, if you read that. So, that was in the article. On the next agenda, for our insurance renewal discussion, or you want a separate one?
would you say if you research it and learn that, yeah, it's something you think is worth pursuing, I'm happy to look at it.
Well, we'll just contact that pool representative and see what they've got. I'm sure they've got some info, but, okay.
Yeah, just for, that was an email Maureen sent on the 26th of March. Maybe you want to, I didn't read that.
I didn't put it in the online packet because of
Yeah.
potential copyright issue, but I use this for educational purposes. So I think we're clear.
Anything else, Maureen?
No?
All right, well, it's that sad time of day.
Adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.